Starting. Go. Good morning and welcome to your online service of Unity of Boerne. We're so glad you're with us. You're in the house at Love Build. You're in the place where we affirm and believe and know the truth of who we are, which is nothing less than God's beloved child. And we'll be talking about that today, tuning into the infinite, tuning into the place that is really you and not this seemingly transient personality. Stay with us. I know you'll be blessed by it. Wonderful people here that affirm everyone who tunes in love, and we're thankful that you're here. God bless you. Look forward to you joining us the next hour.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity. Good morning. We're going to start our service this morning. We're going to stand. David, we're going to sing something.
We're going to do In the Silence, but don't be silent. Okay.
Please stand.
Please stand. Good to be back. In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends, good is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there, peace is there, truth is there, God is there.
Well done, well done. Before you sit down, find somebody and say, "You look spectacular."
You look spectacular today.
You look spectacular.
Thank you so much. Right back at you, Tom. Spectacular.
All right.
I do have some announcements for you this morning.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Can't hear me yet? Tom, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Oh, Matt?
Maybe you need to speak up.
Hello.
Such a very soft voice.
A little bit? Kinda? Sorta?
It's on.
All right.
There you go.
I'm just going to yell at you.
No, you can. You are heard.
All right, a few announcements for you this morning. For all of our ongoing classes and extracurricular things that go on during the week, I'm going to refer you to our order of service and also our Facebook page. You can find all those classes there, and all the log information there is there as well. I wanted to tell you that Pat put in her membership, and every time I'm up here to do that, she isn't here. So I'm going to try again next month, but anyway, if you see her, maybe mention to her, you're happy to have her. And if you've been here for a while and thinking about maybe becoming a member, it's real easy. There's a clipboard on the back, a little short page. It takes you 5 minutes. It helps us with Unity Worldwide. We do need to keep a minimum number of members to keep them happy. So think about it. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's an easy thing for us, and it helps everybody. I don't see anybody here for the first time. I think I recognize everybody, but we do have Birdie here, and anytime we get her here, we like to say, welcome back. So Bertie runs all of our Facebook and all of our social media stuff, and behind the scenes, you don't see her very often. She lives way far away, but she does a ton of stuff for us, and so we're really, really grateful. And so speaking of that, you might have noticed that there's 2 boxes now out in front of the church. There's a special campaign we want to do in October. A really cool thing Bertie's going to tell you about.
Oh my goodness, y'all look spectacular. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a chaplain in a rural hospital, and you all sponsor my work because chaplains need to be sponsored by a church. And in our rural hospital, from time to time, we do have people experiencing rural homelessness that come through our ER. So we do our best to give them a fresh start, not only with a safe discharge plan, but also with a backpack full of basic hygiene items. I gave out a little flyer today, but it's things like socks, wet wipes, soap, etc., 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 sunscreen, things like that, just so they can get a fresh start in life. And the hospital provides the backpacks, but we ask for donations for the items on the inside. So there's going to be a basket in front of the church for the next month, maybe month and a half. Please, when you're out shopping, I have a flyer here, and I will leave it here if you can let other people know that aren't here today. I would deeply, deeply appreciate the donations. And I'm grateful for your sponsorship. We've had this relationship for 3 years, and I'm so proud to represent the Unity of Boerne community in a rural hospital. Thank you.
All right, so let's do Bertie proud. We got about 4 weeks. Where are the flyers going to be? Everywhere?
I will put them in the front.
Okay, very good. Pick one up on your way out.
Most people have them, but yeah, if you
Okay,
give with me.
very good. We're going to move on here if we can, where you have the reading of the daily word with Linda. I was told to get all my stuff out of the way.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers and churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word for today is prosperity, and the affirmation, practicing gratitude deepens my experience of prosperity. My life may be full of blessings, my family and friends, my home, my memories and experiences, but it can be easy to take it for granted if I focus more on what I'm missing rather than what I have. Being thankful, expressing my gratitude for my good, opens my heart, but it also opens my eyes to the many ways I am prosperous. I count my blessings, pausing to give thanks for each one. The more often I do this, the more feelings of gratitude will fill my heart, crowding out constricting feelings of scarcity, fear, or envy. From the serenity I feel in my heart to the peace that calms my mind, I am prosperous. As I greet each day with a prayer of thanks, my blessings abound. The scripture comes from Psalm 36, verse 8. They feast on the abundance of your house, and you give them drink from the river of your delights. Again, the affirmation, practicing gratitude deepens my experience of prosperity. My name is Linda, and I thank you all for joining us in worship today.
Thank you, Linda.
I'll remind everyone, if you'd like to read the daily word, there's a sign-up sheet in the back. Kind of a really good way to share yourself with the congregation. I know it's not everybody's favorite thing to stand up in front of everybody, but what a group of people, nice people to do that in front of us. So we're going to stand together and we do our miracle moment. I know and affirm
that I am one with the prospering power of the universe. The totality of possibilities lies before me.
stay standing for a minute for our celebration song.
Confident living. Confident living, banner of might, comes from the Spirit with glorious light. Confident living cleanses my soul, giving the Spirit fullest control. Confident living rights every wrong, dynamic power helps me be strong. Confident living comforts my heart, from such a blessing I can depart. Confident living helps me expand visions of value, the kingdom at hand. Confident living, talent to win, gift of the Spirit moves from within. Confident living rights every wrong, dynamic power helps me be strong. Confident living comforts my heart, from such a blessing I can depart. Confident living keeps me aware, ever the true love is found everywhere. Confident living fulfills my heart, opens my channels without delay. Confident living rights every wrong, dynamic power helps me be strong. Confident living comforts my heart, from such a blessing I can't depart.
Let's stay standing for a second. We're going to do our opening prayer together.
Community, providing sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate Christ in all people.
Please be seated.
Good morning. Now's the time in our service where we bring forth our prayer requests, where we release the burden of what may be in our hearts and our minds, what we may be carrying, things that we want to see set right. We know that prayer is not so much a position, it's a disposition. And we enter that disposition of love right now. If you have a prayer request that you haven't written down and you'd like to, you'll find the page in the middle of your bulletin to write the prayer request. If you just want to keep them in the silence of your own being, God is there and truth is there. We sang that, and that's what is real. So I would ask right now, if you have any requests, fill them out. Otherwise, we could have the prayer box brought forward. Thank you. Gracious and loving presence, we know that you know the desires of our hearts before our mouth ever speaks of it. We know that you are the author of peace and love, and not confusion, and not dissension. We know that represented in this box may be every situation that is known in the human form, from despair to joy, from petitions to thankfulness. The one thing that is true is that you are there in the midst of the lives of all who have filled out these prayer requests or who have carrying them in their heart and their mind. We declare that your perfect will is done and that your gentle touch touches those that are looking for the way and may not even know how to do it or what to do. You are the way shower. You are the love that we celebrate in our being, and we do that right now. We remember the truth, we affirm it, and we know your perfect will is being done in the lives of these that are represented by the prayers in this box. We give thanks for answered prayer. And so it is.
It's good to be back after just a couple of weeks. I'm not going to do a brand new song today. That's kind of a first for the last few months. I'm actually doing a song that I wrote back in 2010 that I've kind of updated. And it fits so well with the themes of today. So it's called Infinite Love and Gratitude, and it's about when actually infinite love is infinite, so is gratitude if you look into the infinite and tune in to your way. It's kind of one of my more Eastern tinged songs. You could also call it the Tao of Gratitude. So.
Tuning in to find a way, remaining present here today. Perceptions turned all upside down, or is it the other way around? You know, love is all we are. Let go and see who you can be. There's a pattern between your thoughts. The same are flowing between mine. They were locked up in my heart. Now they're here in our space and time. Since love is all we are, it makes me aware of who I am. Now with infinite love and gratitude, I move through time and space. Infinite love and gratitude, from karma into grace. The way of truth is within your heart. Infinite love and gratitude, Satnam, Namo, Namo. Go with the truth and find your direction. Follow the pattern into the infinite. Go with the truth and find your direction. Follow the pattern into the infinite. Go with the truth and find your direction. Follow the pattern into the infinite. Go with the truth and find your direction. Follow the pattern into the infinite. You're trying to find your way, remaining present here today. Perception was turned all upside down. Now it's the other way around. You know, love is all we are. Helps me to see all I can be with infinite love and gratitude. I move through time and space. Infinite love and gratitude, from karma into grace. The way of grace is within your heart. to Sodom. I know, even in love and gratitude, even in love and gratitude, the way of truth is within your heart. Even in love and gratitude, Sodom. And I know. Thank you.
So today happens to be Celebration Sunday. So, birthdays, anniversaries, you've had a healing of some kind. There's one. An idea. You'd like to celebrate David and his music. Oh boy. Oh. Got another one. Oh. Somebody on the fence?
Well, I didn't realize it was going to be Celebration Sunday. First of all, let me celebrate that I even made it here. I was having a little trouble struggling because I hurt my knee, but I hurt it in a good way because I was doing a line dance. You know, I may be getting older, but I'm not slowing down. It was a lot of fun, but now I'm in the process of recovery, so I was debating whether I would come or not, and I said, no, just go, just do it. You know, so I was celebrating just being here. And my birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
You made it. Your name?
Todd.
Todd, what are you celebrating?
Okay, so I tomorrow I'm going to be submitting a universal airline pilot application to all the airlines that I want to apply for, and just kind of see what happens. I'm just kind of celebrating the possibilities of future goals.
Just can't stay retired, huh?
Yeah, I tried.
Tried it, not happening.
Not happening. Still got plenty of time left to keep flying, so I'm gonna do it while I can. And
All right. All right, we're gonna hold that vision for you. Be careful what you get. You might get it.
Yeah.
Your name?
And Kelly,
What are you celebrating?
I'm celebrating that my foster grandchild, soon to be my, you're gonna adopt Michael, and he's gonna have a birthday, and he's gonna be 5 years old this month.
Awesome. Ann's family just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Did my daughter.
Your name? You finally get to have one of your own flowers.
We're celebrating our birthdays this month. Brent is on the 3rd and mine's on the 4th.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. I reckon Linda's older than me. Your name?
Diane, and I'm celebrating my birthday.
Ah.
Same day as Linda.
Yeah.
A few years difference in age, but who cares?
This is the one that matches my eyes.
Your name, young man. Take the manly one.
David. I'm going to take this one right here in the middle.
Yeah.
David Coleman.
You're celebrating.
I am celebrating the fact that I've been here for 18 months and I couldn't be happier. And
Wonderful.
I think one of the most important things that has happened in my life is the knowing of this man back here, Jay. He is a wonderful speaker and a closeness I could not feel. Right there. And that's it.
Awesome. Bertie, are you here celebrating, or are you just kind of running stuff?
I'm just running the camera. We could celebrate that if we wanted to.
She just wanted a flower.
My name's Marty, and what I'm celebrating is I just want to give you a reminder. Something so incredible happened to me this week, and it's something that can touch all of you as well. About a week ago, I got some information from a cousin. It had been a couple of weeks ago. And her husband was dying, and she was really having a hard time. And so we've been staying in contact. And one thing she said one of the messages she said was, "My heart is broken." And that really touched me. So I got her on the list, and those of you that do the praying, so and that little piece of paper that's inside this deal here, so I put her on there for a couple of weeks. And then this week, I get a message from her, and she said, "I don't know what you've done, but things have turned around, and he's passed on, and now life is beautiful. I am at peace." And so my reminder to all of you is to take that little piece of paper home with you, and during the week when somebody, your cousin or somebody or your friend says something to you that a time that they're having a hard time, make a little note of it right then, because that's when it's happening to you. And then turn it in and let the prayer group, continue the prayers and the love and the light. Just think in terms, well, what can I do? I don't know how to handle that stuff, No, it's only 2 words you need to remember: to send love and to send light to these other people that know you. And then the miracle does happen. So this is just to tell you a reminder. I was so touched when I heard back from her, and she said, "Life is beautiful. I am so happy. Thank you." So just wanted to tell you all that as a reminder for all of us.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that we used to get maybe one of those a week, one prayer request a week. It means sometimes we have a Sunday where we get 10. So people are using it.
Yeah, good.
It works. It works.
And can I just say also, I feel like the whole congregation is taking a part in it. Like when Jay picks up the box and we start praying, I just been feeling this shift where there's like participation even during the service, where everybody is joining together. It's not just the prayer team, and it's not just silent unity, but it's like our congregation itself is just, I just feel that shift. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that, because God does answer prayer.
So hold your hand up to the side, feet below, wave your fingers. Say, we honor your celebration.
We honor your celebration.
And we're sure the best is yet to come.
And we're sure the best is yet to come.
You can put them back, but you got to take them with you. All right, take it.
In the midst of his children, the Lord set me free. Doesn't take very many, it can be just 2 or 3. And I feel the same sweet spirit I felt all times before. Surely I can say I'm in with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. There's a holy hush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. There's a holy hush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
In this time of contemplation, in this time of meditation, whatever you want to call it, it is a return, our willing return to the place in us that knows no fear, no lack, no disharmony, no negativity of any kind. It is the positive place where love resides. And it is always in us. We turn to it now. The mighty current of creativity that is the spirit of truth courses through us right now. The difference is we're aware of it. It does it all the time, but we're tuning into it right now. It's a familiar place. If we visited there before, if this is our first time or one of the beginning times of meditation, it is a place that we know all is well, and we affirm that. We're aware of this wonderful spirit that is us, that animates us, and we take liberally of what we need from this healing stream. It could be health for the body, health for the mind. Whatever it is, we stand mindful and aware of this presence. We surrender our limited understanding for its greater surety. There's no insecurity in this place. We feel recreated right now. We feel lighter. We know we're surrounded by the presence of love, not only in this wonderful church with wonderful people, but we're surrounded by a spirit that we affirm each one of us and call it into being. We're aware of the oneness we share. And any disparate parts of ourselves that we have disowned or thought unworthy or felt shame or blame about, we bring to this presence for healing. We're set up. We're made new right now. We feel it. And our lives mirror what we affirm here. Our intentions, our primary intentions, is to experience the life more abundant. And we do that. We do that by the memory and the affirmation of what we are. The omniscience of the presence within us gives us knowledge sure and certain, in perfect ways, under grace, and our good comes to us. Spirit. We know we are healed. We know we are loved. And we know we are loved. We give thanks for the new beginning that we affirm right now. And we gently walk forward into new life, knowing that it is done to us as we believe. As above, so below. As within, so without. The words of truth that we speak inside us right now do not return to us void, but they go forward, creating a wonderful and blessed life. We claim that now. In our hearts, we say, it is so. Amen. Good morning. I don't feel like you can hear back there. Is everybody hearing me all right? Okay. Sorry? I think it's all right. Today I want to talk to you about tuning into the infinite. And I remember that it was told to me a long time ago that each one of us has a station in our mind we could tune into. There are literally all kinds of voices and all kinds of vibrations that are in us and around us, and if we're receptive to it, if we haven't kept our consciousness clear, we can become heir to those things that we don't necessarily want to hear, and some of the things we do want to hear. This is why it's so important that we keep our consciousness clean, that we stand porter to the doorways of our mind, as Mary Baker Eddy said. That we remember that we are the watchmen of our thoughts, and that what we don't want to experience, we don't entertain. I think a great need in the world today is more light. We need to not only have more love and light, we need to lighten up on ourselves. We feel sometimes that life is something that has to be endured, and what you're going to do. And you remember the bumper sticker that was some time back, life's up, you know what, and then you die. And that is the feeling of some people still, that they have very little control over what happens to them and what's going to happen to them and what is part of this earthly experience. But if you tune in to the part of you that you know is the good, the pure, the powerful, and the positive, and how do you know this? Because it makes you feel better. It's lighter. It's something that you're aware of, and in times of trouble, you run to it whether you know it or not. It's a normal thing, but we don't necessarily always call it by what it is. We turn inside to the things that give us comfort. And what are we tuning into inside to give us comfort? Are we tuning into memories and opinions and ideas of someone else? Are we tuning into the truth of our being as we know it, as revealed to us through meditation like we just engaged in, or through the study of truth, which I love and highly recommend, but obviously I say that because I'm a minister and I love it. You'll find me many times doing remediation of things that I did many years ago when I first discovered truth. I like to go back, revisit that, and kind of recharge my batteries. It's part of a practice that I love doing. It reminds me, like the old saying is, when you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Well, I've never felt like quitting, but I love to go back and remember what started me on this journey. It was a belief in the goodness of God. It was a belief that if I tuned in to the infinite, and some of you are probably familiar with that book by Ralph Waldo Trine, In Tune with the Infinite. But if I did that, I found my life began to work in different ways. Didn't mean that I wasn't going to have challenges. Didn't mean that everything was going to be cotton candy in Coney Island. But it did mean that I had a presence with me that upheld me and was with me whatever was to come before me. And as we tune into this, as I talk about this morning, we all have our different ways of doing that. I want to suggest something to you this morning that I haven't talked a whole lot about. And it is something that I've given a great deal of thought about. And I would like to know your opinion before I go on, just for informative purposes. How many of you are familiar with A Course in Miracles? Can you raise your hand? And how many of you have a positive feeling about it? Can you raise your hand? Wow, that's good. One of the things that I love about it, it speaks about our inherent oneness. The idea that before this world ever came into existence, we were part of a oneness and a love that was not necessarily physical, but it was the allness of what we could experience at any one time. It was everything that we could. It was a love that was of not human understanding. And the Course says that in a tiny tick of time, we had a mad idea that we wanted to be individuals and that we could do this better. And we didn't need to stay with the circle of love that we were in. We could be an individual and we could do it better. In other words, we came to the presence of this wholeness and said, like the teenager says to the father, "Dad, can you give me the car keys? I want to go out." And we left the holy oneness and we came to experience what life is like as an individual. And there were really two emotions that we came into the world with: love and fear. Everything that is not of love, you could pretty well boil down to the fact that it's fear, whether it be anger, hatred, negativity. Back of all that is fear. But we also brought with us the love that is us, that was us at the time of this perfect wholeness, and will always be us. And what's happened in our human situation is that we have love and fear competing inside ourselves because we don't really know how to get back to where we were. In other words, there's a divine discontent. There's a spiritual homesickness that we have and that we want to go back to. It's an ancient memory of knowing our wholeness and our oneness and the love that we are. And one of the things that I love about the Course in Miracles is it doesn't pull any punches about the things that happen in this world. The suffering that we endure, the pain that we endure, the things that, quote, go wrong. But it also says that there is a way through this, and it is through the only thing that we can ever do and this is the tuning into the infinite that I want to talk to you about. The only thing that we can ever truly do is change our minds about what is in front of us. Change our minds about what we feel is behind us. And change our minds about the future. In other words, we know that when we change our perspective right now, the things that have seemed to happen take on a different flavor. And the things that we don't know are coming up, we know that we have a presence with us. In other words, we have decided to look at the world from another viewpoint, above the battleground, as it is called in the Course. It says things in the Course such as, I am here to be truly helpful. I am here to experience to understand the experience of my thought. In other words, let's bring it back again. Love and fear. It boils it down, and I like that because the simplicity of it is one of the things that I wanted to do when I got into ministry. I wanted to unmuddle the metaphysical. And so many course students, I found out, make things so hard on themselves because they are convinced that their way is correct and the other isn't. And, you know, one of the great teachers of the Course, Ken Wapnick, said, if you want to be with a wonderful group, you go to a Course in Miracles group. But if you want to see people argue like you've never seen before, look at Course students. They do argue with one another. I've been on the forums and I've seen it with the idea that my understanding is better and yours is wrong. The truth is, as the Foundation for Inner Peace says right on their website, if a person comes away from the Course more assured of God's love, less fearful, and less anxious, its purpose has been served. In other words, it is an individual thing. We can't be cookie cutters of one another as we're tuning into this infinite, as we're understanding the Course. If you haven't picked it up, if you haven't picked up this big blue book, I invite you to do it because it is life-changing in a very, very deep way. And it's something that I like to say reads you more than you read it. I found that the lessons in the Course I would see on one day, they're numbered 1 through 365, and I would do it on, say, lesson 5 on one day, and I'd already be up to lesson 20, and all of a sudden I'd get inspiration about lesson 5. And I thought, where'd that come from? And I realized that the Holy Spirit was reorganizing, reconditioning, restructuring my thoughts about life. But it always seemed to boil down to and come back to this idea of love and fear. And one of the things that it says that I love so much is that the Son of God, Jesus, didn't come to die for us because we were guilty. He came to live for us because we were guiltless. We are guiltless. In other words, the God of this universe, the love, does not blame, does not condemn. That is a human construct. And if we want to tune in to the real infinite part of ourselves, I think what we need to do, in fact, I know it from my own experience, what we need to do is not be afraid to look at the shadows that are inside ourselves, what the Course talks about the wrong mind. It's the wrong way of thinking about ourselves and other people. Basically, I'm going to give you a little cliff note ending to this Course in Miracles. What it says is, you got to forgive, and you got to do it all the time. And you've got to be in that state constantly. That is a difficult thing for most of us to do. We are challenged to come back to ourselves so many times when we don't understand what's out there. We don't even understand what's in here all the time very well. But when we change our minds and we say, I want the Holy Spirit to teach me, to come through me, to work through me. When we're willing to put our limited human understanding aside and embrace the very wonder of our being, the part of us that is the image and likeness of God. Not the personality we acquire, but the Godhood that we are. So many of us are afraid to stand in that power and in that truth. And we use things against ourselves. The ego is very, very subtle in the way it self-sabotages. You know, to return a little bit more to the idea of this course, of the Course in Miracles, it was channeled, many of you know, through a woman named Helen Schuckman. She was a PhD in clinical psychology in the early 60s. And what started the whole thing was she was a psychologist, a Freudian psychologist who was conservative in practice and atheistic in belief. And she had a great, great trouble with some of the people she worked with. And one day, one of her colleagues said to her in the hallway, who she wasn't getting along with very well, there's got to be a better way than what we're experiencing. And out of her mouth came these words, there is, and I want to help us find it. And from that miracle moment where some egos seemed to collapse, came a collaboration, and then Dr. Schuckman began to hear a voice that claimed to be Jesus. And she began, and it said, this is a Course in Miracles, please take notes. And she began to write on steno pads hundreds of pages of this voice that she heard. It was beautiful. It is challenging. It is sometimes difficult to understand, not because it's so complicated, it's because our egos are very complicated. We have an investment in being in this body. We call ourselves this, or you call yourselves that, whatever it is. We say we are this body. We're not. We're eternal spirits of love. We are experiencing life in a human form right now. But if we step back and take the bigger picture, we can realize that there is far more to life than what we experience between what I've heard called, and I think it was Joel Goldsmith, the parenthesis in eternity that we experience right now, or the dash, the day we're born and the day we die. I think each one of us knows that there's far more to us than that set number of years. And the Course talks about that. Tuning into the infinite, tuning into love, tuning into the place that is in you that always knew, the place and always knows, the place that I talk to you about in meditation. It knows the answers. It has everything that you'll ever need, but it calls on you to do something that is so difficult. We have to deconstruct the idea of our egos and our personal preferences about the way Spirit and God should be. And really, as it says in the book, come wholly empty, even forgetting this course, with your hands wholly empty unto your God. It means complete surrender. And it affirms the truth that we celebrate in unity, which is God is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, always with us. There's no disagreement about that in the Course. What we have in the Course is the idea that these things all have to do with the love that we are, the love that we must remember, the love that we must embrace, while letting go of these lesser things that the Course calls the ego ideas. Me, mine, I, the acquisition of something out there, which of course there's nothing wrong with that, but if you've noticed, we tend to want more. We get one thing, and let's have another. What's next? We live in a world that says, what have you done for me lately? We have an ego inside ourselves that says, what have you done for me lately? We cannot rest in peace because we seem to be having to do this dance of more, more, and more. What I want to challenge you about today, what I would like to give you the idea about today, is to know that the part of you that chooses in favor of love is choosing in favor of your eternal identity. And the part of you that chooses fear in its many permutations and forms is a part that's choosing the ego that will ultimately fade and die when the body dies. Isn't it a wonderful idea to think about identifying with who you really are? Isn't it wonderful news that you can step away from the battlefield, look down on what's going on in your life, and make a decision to return to your core? I guess you all didn't know that this would be sort of a Course in Miracles lesson. But I felt like it's very important because in our unity churches, there are 97% of our churches where Course in Miracles classes are held. 97%. And in Science of Mind, it's 88%. The Course has shaken the spiritual world. And it's done it quietly. It's done it by word of mouth. It's done it by, some of my favorite stories is hearing people say, the thing is so big and so thick, I don't know what to do with it. It's sat up on the bookshelf and got dusty, or I stuck it down in the drawers. It was a good drawer stop. All these things because it was so thick, you know. You just can't make sense of it. It doesn't say. What you have to do is say, when you open it, I remove my limited human sense and let my higher self resonate with the truth that is in these pages. I guess by now, and you probably knew beforehand, but you certainly know officially, I'm a fan of this course. I love it. And I'll tell you something that really, really brought it home to me. It's like a long circle. We say that love is all. And that's what the Course says. And just as I was remembering that, I came across something on YouTube because I like to Google some of my favorite teachers. And I Googled Norman Vincent Peale, who meant so much to me. And as you all know, I had a personal friendship with him via the phone. And he gave me so much wisdom and so much that was so precious to me, especially right now as I go through certain things in my life. When Dr. Peale was talking about to somebody on this YouTube video, he said, you know, when you boil down Christianity, really, I'd like to call it lovianity. But that's not a real word. He said, but it's love in the person of Jesus Christ. And it's about loving no matter what. And I thought to myself, there was an older Protestant minister from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s talking about lovianity and love. And here was the Course in Miracles talking about love as the sine qua non as well. And I thought, that's really what it's about. Christianity, you want to call it lovianity, you want to call it the religion of love. Because if we don't have love in what we're doing, and it says in 1 Corinthians 13 so well, if I can do all things, if I can move mountains, if I can talk in tongues, if I can do all these wonders, but I do not have love in my heart, I am but a clanging cymbal, sounding brass. In other words, love is the sum and substance and the foundation of who we are. And when we pair that with the truth of our being, which is omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience, when we understand that that is who part of and parcel of who we are, then we choose differently. I invite you this morning to tune into the infinite by choosing the different voice in your head. The voice, the still small voice that speaks for love. How can you tell the difference in these voices? I have a pretty foolproof way. The ego in me speaks loudly. The still small voice I'm talking about whispers to me. But I found out the still small voice is always right. And when you tune into the infinite today, when you take this as part of your spiritual practice, remember, forgive yourself, forgive others. Because if we do all other things, but we don't have forgiveness, then we're valueless. We must live in a state of forgiveness for ourselves and for other people. This is the beginning of something that I want to talk about in the weeks to come. It's something that has moved me and that I love. And you all know I love you and I support your spiritual growth. I support your spiritual unfoldment. We're going to have a lot of fun in the upcoming weeks. Those of you who are tuning in by the internet, I invite you again to be part of this, what I call the house that love built. I invite you to be here and feel what the wonder and the magic of what these loving folks do. I don't think that there's anything that anybody has out here that isn't loving. All I've done is remind you of it. And remind yourself of it. When you're in crisis, when you're upset, when things aren't going right, you can always choose once again. It's not always fun, but it's always peaceful. May God bless you and keep you in this understanding that I affirm for you, and that you know that you know, in the truth of your being, that you are nothing less than love incarnate, and you tune into the infinite by that memory. God bless you, and so it is. And now comes the part of our service where we're privileged to give back, as we've received. Those of you that are online, we'd ask that you give your best gift through pressing the PayPal button. And if you prefer to send your gifts by mail, you can do so by sending to Unity of Boerne, P.O. Box 1973, Boerne, Texas 78006. That's Unity of Boerne, P.O. Box 1973, Boerne, Texas 78006. We thank you for your gifts that sustain this ministry, that help us in outreach. And right now, as the usher comes forward, Joe, thank you. Please give the best gift of which you're able. You are part of the outreach of Unity of Boerne.
Freely I have received, freely I give. Divine love to me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive.
Together we repeat our prayer for blessing and increase. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I send it forth with my blessings and my love. So it is. Amen.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge
much thinking time.
Together we join hands as we show confidence. So.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together we say, the light
Light of God surrounds us, the love of God controls us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Namaste. Thank you for joining us today, friends.
Thank you for that. Thank you.